Domestic violence.
Domestic violence.
So I spent maybe about a year and a half working for Inner City Women's Group as their marketing person, and that's a domestic violence prevention agency in Auckland. And I did marketing 1 day a week for them when I was in the office, and part of my role was to do some admin as well, just to help out. It was a very small team, and it was filing all these cases of women who had experienced domestic violence or intimate partner violence, and I knew it was a thing. I didn't realise how much of a thing it was. There's a statistic, 1 in 3 women will experience some form of domestic violence or intimate partner violence in their lifetime, whether it comes from being in an intimate relationship or, you know, in a family situation as well. Like, it's a really, really bad problem. But there's a culture of, what's the word? Maybe you can help me. A culture of, like, not violence exactly, but that she'll be right attitude, that putting the sports people, the rugby players on pedestals, you know, letting certain sports players get away with things, you know, like, there's something in this culture that I think needs to change. It's not as simple as giving funding to a domestic violence prevention group. It's systemic. It comes from somewhere deeper.
The movie Once Were Warriors, is that the name? Sorry, Once Were Warriors was like, what, from more than 30 years ago?
It would be
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 30 years ago.
And that was one of the main subjects of the movie, right? Would you say that things got worse, or now there's more voice, like people are speaking up, women are going out there and saying, or like it's one of those things that just take time to change? And
I think it takes time. I think there is people are more vocal about it. There is more, you know, in the news about it. There's more advocacy about it. But the core issue still remains the same. If you're in a relationship that when you have a violent partner and they are physically or psychologically abusing you and you can't get out because you're afraid of, you know, being hurt or being, you know, in some cases killed, then, like, no domestic violence agency can stop that. You know, there's some kind of violence that is in New Zealand culture, I think, that creates a bit of this problem. And it's probably related to the other issues that New Zealand has as well, like the wealth inequality and the poverty and stuff like that. You know, if you're